All right, looks like we are live, gentlemen. So good evening, Crescent City. Uh, can't thank you enough for joining us tonight and for your patience as we're dealing with a situation that still has a lot of unknowns to it. My name is Eric Weir. I'm the city manager for the city of Crescent City. I'm so fortunate to be joined tonight with our State Senator Mike McGuire, State Assembly Member Chris Rogers, and we have a representative from NOAA. We have Ryan Allward, who has been in touch with us at the Office of Emergency Services here, trying to keep us up to date on exactly what we have going on. There hasn't been a lot of information pushed out, and that is because there's still a lot of information coming in. So we are trying to get you the information we have, and that's why we wanted to meet with you all tonight. So with that, what we know. So we all had our phones with us. We all received that emergency notification that there is a tsunami warning going to hit Crescent City. And that is the truth. That is the facts. There was a large earthquake, 8.7, I believe, was the magnitude that they're settling in on near Russia, and that has generated a tsunami that is working its way across the Pacific. It is set to hit here in Crescent City shortly before midnight, but it is a distant event. And it is a smaller event. So this is not going to be a 1964 event that we're looking at, destroying several blocks of the town. However, it is going to be an event that creates a lot of disruption in the ocean, a lot of strong currents. We're asking people to stay away from the beaches, stay away from the mouths of the river, and any low-lying areas. And I'll get into a little bit more of those details here in a second. But first, I'd like to just turn over real quick to Senator McGuire, maybe just for a few words, and then we'll get it over to Senator Chris Rogers, or Assemblyman Chris Rogers, and then Ryan Allward. Senator McGuire.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. Let's talk about the very latest of what we know. For Del Norte County, and it's focusing on Crescent City, we're going to hear from Ryan Allward. He is the warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service and NOAA. Let's get to Ryan right now and provide you the very latest update on predictions. We're going to talk first about tonight. We're going to take you through approximately 11 p.m., which is around low tide. He's then going to cover when we start going into high tide around 3:30 a.m. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Ryan is the warning coordinator, warning coordination meteorologist out of the National Weather Service Eureka Center. Ryan, the very latest on what we're anticipating for Crescent City. Please take it away.
So the tsunami wave is moving across the Pacific right now, and has hit a lot of dart buoys and is being registered at tidal gauges in Alaska. And so there's a lot of good information at this point, and the Tsunami Warning Center is feeling pretty confident about the magnitudes that they have in the forecast. So they're forecasting about a little over 2.5 to potentially nearly 5-foot tsunami wave. And so on that upper end of this, if we're getting up to 3, 4, 5 feet on top of the tide, that the potential is that when the high tide comes around 3 a.m., that water could be exceeding the highest high tide. And in that case, you could have water that's inundating normally dry land down by the harbor, and beaches. So the tsunami warning is issued when tsunami waves are expected to be 3 feet or higher. So they're very confident that it's going to be 3 feet or higher. It's just a question of, do we actually hit that 5-foot range? If we do, water could easily get, outside of the highest high tide, see inundation that could, hit 101, for instance, that sort of thing. So right there at the South Beach. So that's the reason the tsunami warning is out, because of those waves that are coming. The first wave is expected to arrive at 11:50, and I just want to emphasize that the first wave is not often the biggest. It's usually waves later on. So sorry, I have a call that's coming in at the same time. Let me clear that out.
So Ryan, let's just back up a little bit. So we believe that first wave is going to come in at 11:50, but let's talk about low tide. So right now, off of the Del Norte coast, we are going into low tide.
Yes.
So low tide is at how many feet right now, approximately?
I can't remember exactly what it is, but we are at low tide coming into it right now. It was somewhere around the 2 foot range.
Perfect. So at 2 foot, and then so we're looking at a potential wave coming in around 1150 at about anywhere from 3 to 5 feet, correct?
So that first wave may not be the biggest one, and it usually isn't. Crescent Cities is very unique in that very, very rarely does that first wave is it the biggest, because of the way the harbor is set up and the way the waves bounce around in that harbor. The largest waves are often multiple waves after the start. So we're not expecting that first wave to necessarily be the biggest one. And so that's why I'm concerned about the tide when it comes to high tide that comes at 3 a.m. because we may see 4 or 5 waves that are not the biggest wave, and then the biggest wave arrives. The amount of time in between that could be 20 minutes per wave, and we're starting to push really close to that high tide period. So if everything lines up, we could easily see water that does not just stay in the bay, and kind of gets onto the front streets, and not front street, but the park in the front, and maybe towards 101. So that's what is the actual impact going to be? We just don't really know, because once it's out, if it comes out of the bay, it could be impactful. Like Eric said, this is not a 1964 event. It's not going to flood multiple blocks of the city or something, but definitely close to the water, there is a threat.
So I want to be very
Let
good.
me bring up a map real quick, Senator, to see just show the area a little bit of exactly what we're talking about. I think that might give some perspective for people that are for people that maybe don't know the area as well, or know the exact area, and we'll give them some perspective on exactly what we're talking about. So let me bring that up real quick.
And as the city manager is bringing it up, I think we want to alleviate some fears here. Ryan is the warning coordinator meteorologist in the National Weather Service Eureka Weather Center. Ryan, worst case scenario could have been much worse, candidly. And what we're looking at is high tide around 3:30 on Wednesday morning, with a surge of anywhere between anticipated 3 to 5 feet, correct?
Right, that is correct. Yeah, and so the high tide is not a super high tide either. Thankfully, it's about a 5.25 feet. It's not very high, and so that thankfully won't cause if we were looking at an 8 foot tide today, or 7 foot tide, this would be a different story. But thankfully we have a lower high tide than could have happened.
And
So
so
with
Ryan,
that, Mr. City Manager, why don't you take it away on the map and talk about that 3 to 5 feet, that surge, and where there is where we're wanting folks to exercise high caution. If you're in those areas, you should leave and stay out for the next 30 hours. City Manager.
and so the lowest areas in Crescent City, these are the ones that we're most concerned about right now. And that's going to be right around this Elk Creek area. And so those are the lowest elevations that we have. It puts you at about an elevation of 10 or so, which, this most probable it might not get hit, but it certainly could. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. So that's where we want people to stay out of this area and be very cautious, especially through the night, right, as we hit some of those higher tides. And then we'll have some more information. But the area that I would be looking at is this area that I'm going right around our cursor with. It's right in this Elk Creek area as you come down in and around this area. The harbor is also another low area. So that's another area that we're asking people to really exercise an abundance of caution with, and really stay away from these low areas. If you're in them, you should leave, and you should stay away until we know a lot more. And so it's going to be this area right here along South Beach. We're looking at this area down around the Lighthouse Cove RV Park, and into this Elk Creek type area. So this is the primary area of concern when we look at that.
Mr. City Manager, let's talk about those who have already left. Why don't you go through the RV parks that have already been asked to leave here as of approximately 2 hours ago?
So the primary one is really the city-owned RV park. This is Lighthouse Cove RV Park. And that is the primary one that's in this inundation zone for the type of event that we're looking at. And so that has been the evacuation area that we have asked for people to leave. And we're asking them, not to return until it is safe, and we will notify people of that when it is safe to return. Other areas, like I say, that we're asking people just to use an abundance of caution would be this area in here, sort of this lower area of Crescent City until we can get more information. The upper areas, and Ryan, definitely, chime in on this. We have a lot of residential areas as we're looking into the Crescent City proper area. These areas are of a lot relatively higher elevation. And correct me if I'm wrong, we are not expecting any inundation in here. These areas in here would be areas that would be safe. A lot of people have their homes here. These areas are safe to return to. This is not a citywide evacuation all the way to 9th Street. It is really just these low-lying areas in here that we're asking people to stay away from.
Mr. City Manager, we're going to turn it over to Assemblymember Chris Rogers in just a moment. But Mr. City Manager, if you are in one of those low-lying areas, you are being asked to go to, if you need an area to be able to shelter for the evening, 3 different locations in higher ground. Can you please go through those at this time?
Sure, and especially for people that have their RVs. So we have authorization from Home Depot, from Walmart, as well as the school district, that their parking areas, which Home Depot is located here, right across the street from Starbucks in the fairgrounds, Walmart itself up here off of Washington, and then also the high school area here are all locations that those people could go for the night and park, and we have authorization for that.
So if you are in the area of the Crescent City Harbor and you do have an RV, you should be moving to higher ground. Locations at the Home Depot, at Walmart, and at the high school, you are more than welcome to be able to park your rig there this evening. And then also, Mr. City Manager, the Harbor District has let folks know that boats should head out out of the harbor. Why don't you give an update on that, please?
That is my understanding as well, that the harbor master, Mike Rademacher, has made or attempted to make contact with the contacts he has for the boat owners and has informed them of the situation that we are dealing with, in which case asking them to go ahead and vacate the harbor and get their boats to safety before you start to deal with a lot of the strong currents, which are just right around the corner. And Ryan can probably speak to that. I mean, that is a severe danger that we definitely need people to be aware of, not only in the harbor area, low-lying beaches, but especially the mouths of the river. These currents are going to be strong. They're going to be swift. They're going to be abnormal. And there has been loss of life in those areas in the past where you just have people that just want to come and take a look at this. This is not something you want to come and take a look at this. People lose their lives every event that we have like this, it seems. And it's really just, it puts other people in danger, and it's something that we want to avoid this time. Ryan, can you speak to that maybe just a little bit?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you covered it perfectly. The currents are really going to be strong with this. If we're talking about 4 or 5 feet of up and down every 20 minutes, that's a lot of motion. So we really you don't want to be anywhere close to the water when something is going on like this.
We're going to turn it over to Assemblymember Chris Rogers. You're hearing from Ryan Outward from the National Weather Service out of the Eureka Weather Center. Let's do a quick recap. If you are in and around the harbor, if you have your RV parked in and around the harbor, if you are currently in and around the harbor, for example, near the chart room, you should be leaving that area now, immediately. There is safe refuge available at the Home Depot parking lot, at the parking lot at Walmart, along with Del Norte High School. Please leave those areas now. Respectfully, we're also going to ask that all residents stay away from the beach for the next 30 hours. For the next 30 hours, folks should be staying away from the beaches, from the harbor, from Beachfront Park. We're going to turn it over now to Assemblymember Chris Rogers. He has been integral in this response and has been talking with State OES. Assemblymember Rogers, good evening.
No, thank you so much. And first of all, just to thank you to Eric, City Manager for Crescent City. He's been doing a phenomenal job, as he always does, keeping people in the loop and in the forefront. What I heard from Ryan in particular is that this is not a one-time event, that looking at that first potential impact for a tsunami wave here just in the next hour or so is not the completion of this event. And so make sure that you are continuing to watch official channels to get latest information so that folks know when it is safe to be in certain areas around Crescent City and what resources they have that are marshaled for them, particularly as folks are making their way to those 3 locations that they can be at. We'll be standing by, helping to monitor and helping to make sure that in the event that we do need additional resources, that Cal OES is able to respond and meet the need for Crescent City. But otherwise, we are very just proud to watch the work that's being done on the ground, and we'll be here every step of the way to make sure folks get what they need.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Chris Rogers. We're going to do a quick recap. We're going to have Ryan come back on in just a moment. Ryan is from the National Weather Service. We're going to do a recap of what to expect here a little before midnight in just a moment. Then we're going to do a recap of what to expect when high tide hits at the 3 o'clock a.m. hour. But before we do, I'm going to have Eric Weir, the city manager of Crescent City, bring that map back up. We're going to show folks one last time. If you are in and around Beachfront Park, if you are in and around the harbor, we're asking folks to be able to leave immediately. You are able to seek refuge at the Home Depot parking lot, at the parking lot in Walmart or Del Norte High School. So, Mr. City Manager, why don't you go through one more time and pinpoint those areas where folks should be leaving?
And so this was really some of the information that we were waiting for, and that's why it did take us a little longer than what any of us really wanted to quite frankly to get this information out. Is we wanted to see what exactly the evacuation area was going to be, because there was some uncertainty. And so it's really these low-lying areas right around the Elk Creek area. That's going to be your most critical. It's the lowest part of the city. So I want people to stay away from that. Like you say, it's not just when it first hits, but it's going to be for a duration. There's going to be several waves that are going to come in. One of the most critical points is when we hit our high tide, and that's going to be at around 3 a.m. this morning. That's going to be a critical point for us. So definitely we want people to stay away from this area. We're going to have first responders not in the area, but around the area monitoring, and the harbor areas in the same boat. Again, the residential area of Crescent City that is part of your normal evacuation zone where we tell everybody go north of 9th. In this scenario, we have enough information to say this area will not be affected by this event that we're going to have. And so your homes are safe. You don't have to evacuate your homes if you're in these residential areas. That's the key thing. The other thing is if you're in low-lying areas around any of the beaches or the mouth of the Smith River, the mouth of the Klamath, those areas are also areas you need to stay away from. And so we're asking people in those areas, and especially, like I say, this Elk Creek area is of particular concern and danger really as we go through this time period.
That's Eric Weir, city manager for Crescent City. We're going to turn it back over to Ryan. Ryan is the warning coordinator meteorologist with the National Weather Service and NOAA. Ryan, let's go through moment by moment here tonight. Let's start when we believe that first waves will come in. Ryan, we believe it's going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 feet. I also know that Crescent City is dynamic and it's hard to predict, but let's walk through low tide that hits about now, and then let's walk our way through high tide. And then Ryan, let's walk through what to expect Wednesday morning into the evening hours. Ryan, let's start now. It's 11:08 p.m. What should we expect low tide? What should we expect high tide? And then walk us through anticipated ocean forecast for Wednesday. Take it away, Ryan.
Okay, thanks. So the tsunami wave should arrive sometime around 11:50. So that is the first wave. Now, tsunami waves will last for a very long time. The Tsunami Warning Center is predicting up to 30 hours of tsunami wave activity. So that could continue, well through tomorrow, really. The warning will be for the largest of those waves, and those waves are going to start arriving here, like I said, at 11:50 and could go for a while. That we are currently around low tide, but we're going to have tide rising over the next several hours, peaking at about the highest high tide 3 to 4 in the morning. And that's when if everything lines up and our tsunami wave ends up being 5 feet at around that time, you could see the waves exceeding the high tide line and flooding some of the low-lying areas. So that's what the tsunami warning is for. Then we're going to start to see that tide go back down, and odds are we'll start to see the wave activity also start to decrease. But that doesn't mean the threat is over. We will continue to have tsunami waves of, within the tidal area, for many, 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 many hours. So the threat for the beaches and the waterfronts will continue well into tomorrow. We don't know how long exactly that'll last. The Tsunami Warning Center will watch and see the magnitude of the tsunami. Once it falls below the threat level, so for a warning, it's 3 feet. For an advisory, it's 1 foot tsunamis. Once it falls below those levels, they then will downgrade. So once it's fallen for 3 consecutive hours below 3 feet, they'll downgrade to an advisory. Then once it falls below 1 foot, they'll cancel everything altogether. So when that happens is when the waves start to die down. Crescent City is, like you said, very dynamic. The waves interact, and you can have large waves at times you wouldn't necessarily expect because of the shape of the harbor. So it's very dangerous, and you just need to stay back until officials let you know it's safe to return, and don't go near the water until the advisory is ended.
Ryan, before we conclude tonight, let's talk about a beach forecast. Folks should not be going to the beaches. No matter if you are in Del Norte or Humboldt County. Humboldt County, I believe, wave height is anticipated to be about 1 to 2 feet as far as surge. But talk to us about beach forecasts, and then folks should not get anywhere near beaches for the next 30 hours. Ryan, take it away from the National Weather Service.
Yeah, definitely. You should not be, as long as this advisory is in effect, you don't want to be down there. And I just emphasize that a lot of people think like the wave comes in and then it's over. That's not how tsunamis work. They keep bouncing in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And it goes on for a long time. This was a huge earthquake, potentially like the 6th strongest earthquake ever measured. Right. So this is a big earthquake. A lot of tsunami wave activity is going on across the Pacific. It's going to bounce around for a while. Back in 2011, the tsunami wave went down, bounced off South America, and then came back and hit Crescent City with nearly similar magnitudes 24 hours later because of the way the tides were at the time. So it's really you got to be really careful, not trust your eyes, and because it can be confusing. It can look like the tsunami wave activity has died down when really it's still continuing. So listen to official alerts. Listen to the officials there in Crescent City. If they're saying evacuate, then you should be evacuated.
We're going to recap here one more time with the city manager, and we're going to turn it over to Assembly Member Chris Rogers. Mr. City Manager, one more time. We are now at about 11:12. We anticipate first wave to be able to hit around the midnight-ish hour, maybe a little before. Where should folks leave if they're there now and stay away from for the next 30 hours? City Manager Eric Weir.
It's just those low-lying areas. So for us, it's going to be that Elk Creek area. Right around there, that's the lowest part of the city. If we're going to have flooding that's beyond our normal high tide, which is what we're expecting, it's going to come out. It's not going to be this huge, massive tsunami, but that area is going to be dangerous. So stay away from the Elk Creek area by several blocks. The harbor area is another one. And then again, the beaches. We can't tell you guys enough. Stay away from the beaches. It's just not worth it. We've lost life every time. Our first responders are out and about. Let them be first responders and not have to respond to save your life because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what we're dealing with for the next 30 hours or so. We will try to keep you as informed as we can. The Del Norte County OES page will have updates as we move forward, and we have more information, which hopefully we will have more frequently. And then we'll try to share those on the city's Facebook page as well.
And I just wanted to jump in with one other little thing that I noticed. I was looking at the tide gauges across the Pacific, and what I was seeing was that the wave comes in and moves up first. So a lot of people think that the tsunami wave, first pulls out and then the wave comes in. It's not always the case. What we're seeing as this wave is moving across is that the first wave is actually an upward motion. So, don't trust that you can just sit there and wait for that water to pull out and just watch it. That's not what's going to happen this time. It looks like the wave is going to move up first. So just get out, stay safe. It's just not worth the risk, like Eric said.
8.8 magnitude earthquake in remote eastern region of Russia. We've had a tsunami impact in the nation of Japan, in the state of Hawaii. And that wave, while it is smaller than what originally was anticipated, is still going to have some potential impacts within Crescent City and Del Norte County. If you are in low-lying areas within Crescent City, leave now. Do not wait. If you are also planning on going to the beach, do not. For the next 30 hours, stay away from all low-lying areas, the mouths of local rivers. And if you do still have your boat in the harbor and you are on that boat, get it out now and head to open waters. But I would anticipate, Mr. City Manager, the harbor will be closing here momentarily as well. Mr. City Manager?
Yeah, I don't have an update on that, but I would agree. We are in that phase now. These tsunami currents are going to be upon us. We saw some footage back in 2011. Some of our locals here very narrowly escaped death with that. And so I would say you are in a very dangerous time right now. Now's the time to be away from that area, because we don't know the exact situation with currents or anything. And that would be the advice that I would give.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go to Assemblymember Chris Rogers. Assemblymember Rogers, working with all state resources, state OES, Caltrans, CHP, whatever is needed, state will be there, please. Assemblymember Rogers.
Yep, exactly. And thank you, Senator, for your work helping to marshal those resources. Everybody's on standby. Everybody's watching to make sure that Crescent City gets what they need. And we'll be there every step of the way.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Chris Rogers. We are absolutely coordinated with the Director of State OES, working with Crescent City, working with Del Norte County OES, and of course, any additional resources that need to be marshaled, whether it is Caltrans, California Highway Patrol, state parks, we are prepared to be able to do just that. If you are just joining us, we have approximately 700 folks who are watching online. 8.8 magnitude earthquake in eastern Russia has caused a tsunami to move across the Pacific. We are anticipating first wave to be able to hit Del Norte County at around 11:50 midnight. 3 to 5 foot surge is what is anticipated. Good news right now, we are in low tide, pretty extreme low tide. The concern that the National Weather Service is monitoring closely is that we go back into high tide around 3:30 this morning, and we're going to see continued inundation, waves 3 to 5 feet. That is the official forecast by the Weather Service for the next 30 hours. Ryan, we're going to be signing off here in just a few moments. Any closing words that you have on behalf of the National Weather Service? And I just got to say, Ryan, on behalf of the Assemblymember, the entire Crescent City City Council, of course, Mr. Weir, thank you for your work. We're also grateful for Troy in the office as well for all of his work. Ryan, last words, and if we need to come back on, Ryan, we will come back on here in the middle of the night, 24/7. We are on call and ready to go. But Ryan, take it away for final words on this specific broadcast. We'll be back with folks at least in the morning, and if need be, overnight. Ryan, take it away.
I think you covered it all right there, right at the end. 11:50, the first wave arrives. It's not worth being down near the water at all, because tsunami waves will last for a long time. Don't trust your eyes. If the biggest risk is you look at the water, you think it's okay, and then you start to move back. So listen to emergency officials and stay away from the water, especially until these products, these advisories or warnings are canceled.
Thank you so much. That's Ryan Elward, warning coordinator, meteorologist with the National Weather Service and NOAA. And we are grateful, truly, with the Weather Service and for the work they do and the partnership we have. Final word, Assemblymember Chris Rogers, please.
No, just as I said, make sure that you're keeping an eye on official channels like the Crescent City official Facebook page to make sure you're getting the most up-to-date information. This isn't a one-time event. It's not one wave. It's 30 hours plus, and make sure that you are keeping an eye on that official information and not just spreading rumors or innuendos that you see on social media.
Senator Chris Rogers, thank you so much. We want to end it right here, and I'll give it over to Eric Weir to be able to sign us off tonight. We are fully coordinated. You have the federal government who is on with us with the National Weather Service and NOAA. You have your state partnership here with the Assemblymember Chris Rogers and, of course, myself, the State Office of Emergency Services. The Assemblymember and I were on calls with the State Office of Emergency Services earlier today. This is not just a pledge, but a promise. Any and all resources, if needed, will be moved into Del Norte County. We are officially requesting, if you are in low-lying areas, in the beachfront park area, within the harbor area, anywhere along beaches, you need to move and move now. And we respectfully request that you move to 3 staging areas: Home Depot parking lot in Crescent City, Walmart just north of Crescent City, or Del Norte High School, which is just west of downtown. We need you to move and move now. We're going to be back with you tonight. If we need to be back on in the middle of the night, you will see the 4 of us again in the next hour or 2. We're going to keep you updated every step of the way. Eric Weir, City Manager, Crescent City, take it away on behalf of the Crescent City City Council for final words.
Senator, and I can't thank this group enough, and really our community for coming together. Our community is resilient. Our community is strong. This is one of those situations that unfortunately Crescent City is prone to, and with that, it's all about information. And so with this, we hope you stay safe, stay out of those low-lying areas, but also check in with your family and friends and neighbors. Maybe they don't have this information. If you could share that with them, that would be very much appreciated. And just try to take care of each other as we go through the night. We're going to know a lot more, but most importantly, just to stay safe, know that we're coordinated. I'm here actually in the Flynn Center with the county Department of Emergency Services. CAO Neil Lopez would have been on, but he's actually trying to coordinate maps and try to get those out as well. So it really is a unified event. Been on the phone multiple times with Senator McGuire, Assemblymember Wood, NOAA, and we will try to get that information out to the community. So with that, Crescent City, stay safe tonight. We're all going to have to pull together, and we will get through this together. So thank you very much, Senator, Assemblyman Ryan. Can't thank you guys enough. You guys are truly appreciated.
Thank you. We'll be back with you if need be in the middle of the night tonight. Stay tuned to the Crescent City Facebook page, the YouTube channel. If we need to be back on tonight, we will, Mr. City Manager. And I know we need to say again one more thank you to Neil Lopez, the CEO of the Board of Supervisors, who have been with us every step of the way. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe. We'll be back with you here tonight or tomorrow morning as updates need to happen.